Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is the day ahead.
Go ahead and click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, we only have ISM non-manufacturing PMI data out at 3 p.m. while we wait on the US dollar and euro to pick a direction in FX. In the comms, I'll be stalking gold and silver for new entries if they're ready to resume their uptrends. In the global indices and equities on my list, it appears to be green-lighting the bull's path almost everywhere. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Starting off with currencies first and looking at the euro US dollar, it's still within its overall range, and so it just becomes a little bit unpredictable in terms of what price could do. It could turn around here and head up back out of that range, try and get back out, or stay within the range. I'm leaning towards a slightly stronger US dollar for today. And also looking at cable to explain that why I'm leaning that way as well. I'm looking prices very close to that 1300 level. It's quite significant. I'd like to see price connect with that, set up with a bullish candle, and then potentially find some support there. And this will very much match what I'm looking at with the Australian dollar against the US dollar. My expectation over time is to see the US dollar break out through this level and then continue on upwards. So expecting a slightly weaker US dollar temporarily, but with a longer term shift to a stronger US dollar temporarily and then shift to a weaker US dollar in coming days. Euro Kiwi here sitting up with a nice bearish candle, a potential swing entry to head and continue down. I'd like to see how that candle closes by the end of the day though as well. And then looking at GBP yen, Kiwi yen that have been on my watch list. So pound yen has triggered but is going largely sideways there, so there's no clear direction there as well. Kiwi yen continuing to maintain its trend, that very nice finding of support there at that previous level of resistance and continuing to move upwards, so that being a very producing some nice results there. Pound Aussie. So pound Aussie, what I'm waiting for here, what I was waiting for was it to find some support, which it did do. Subsequently bounced and come back below that level. So that has failed ultimately to find support and follow through on that. And I'll keep an eye on that in the coming days to see if it does turn around. But that's now seems to have given up its attempt to find support there. And Aussie Kiwi, I'm still waiting on this ultimately to break through this level of support and head lower. So for the moment, some very, very bullish price angle. It may price action. It may not manage to do that, but I am looking to see price head lower and ultimately break through this level. So that's on my watch list for potentially later this week or early next week. Onto the commodities on the move, and gold having pulled back to its first level of support, producing a small bullish candle. So this is my first setup here, looking potentially today for a swing entry to go long. Alternatively, price might attempt to do that, fail, and come back down to this level of resistance and find support there. So ultimately, I'll be looking for an entry into this trend to the upside, either from the level today, which means over the next 24 hours, or if it ultimately comes back down to this low level towards 1300 as a nice round strong level, as well as a level of resistance here. So that is so far going according to plan. That'll be my swing entry short between today and tomorrow. The same actually going for silver. As I said, there is some bearish divergence in terms of the momentum indicators and price action. It may set up and then attempt and fail and ultimately do a deeper retracement. Ultimately, from a risk perspective, I'm prepared for that as a possibility. Palladium, on the other hand, seems pretty happy to continue moving on upwards, having found some support within its 382 and 50% retracement. I'm going to get rid of that and just clean that up a bit, and so that looks very much keen to continue onwards from there. Then having a look at crude oil, although I'm ultimately identified some resistance here, I'm looking to see this break above that and then looking for some nice long entries. It gapped up and then closed down, so price action looking a bit choppy over here. I'm looking to see it really it should start to move a little bit better once it breaks above that level of resistance. Gas, oil as well. This was just showing how I was looking for a breakthrough and a retest of this level that appears to be potentially taking place today. So that might be a swing entry long for me, as price should attempt to continue on to the upside. London number 7 cocoa, I was looking for a small bearish candle in this area. It may still happen. I've sort of marked it here as though this is not exactly the setup I was looking for, so I'll be looking for in the next 24 hours a small bearish candle. If it continues up, that will just become invalidated, and that's on my watch list for commodities for the moment. Taking a look at the global indices today, so basically price continuing to head on upwards. At some point I would really like price to come back and retest any recent levels of resistance for support, and looking for swing entries long there. Also monitoring it on the 4-hour time frame. So overall the chart's looking predominantly bullish. Just monitoring here, UK 100 has managed to produce a swing low on that monthly time frame, so that now looking nice and bullish, and actually looking particularly tasty on the 1-hour time frame here, looking for this to continue to do pullbacks into the moving averages and head on higher. So for intraday opportunities, I'm also seeing a few there. I'll be monitoring the Germany 30, the DAX, really to see that also follow through by producing a bullish monthly candle, and then really just finishing off with Australian and the Hang Seng. Australia just immediately breaking the highs yesterday, first few days in, and breaking that and just following through on that bullishness. So that's really nice to see that continuing to do that. Actually starting to push through the next level of resistance, which I'll just mark between today and tomorrow. And Hong Kong itself also continuing to climb. I've got this, I'm monitoring that for swing entries to go long on that daily time frame for some good opportunities there. So for the most part, looking nice and bullish and looking for those swing entries long. Then having a look at the equities in focus, this is Facebook really just showing how incredibly bullish that month of January was, and already looking relatively bullish. But from a monthly perspective, that is pretty big, considering that negative impact that we had from earnings as well in July, and then that reaction and the recovery. So very powerful. Apple itself also just has to be seen on a higher time frame to understand that perspective. It was lagging for a while. Look at that, very quickly catching up, and very likely to actually break through these levels of resistance. So no problems there, considering we were waiting for it to catch up. There it is, it's doing it. Netflix as well continuing to trend very nicely. So this one not having as much of a shakeout as Amazon. This one continuing on upwards, looking very good, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for this once it starts to. Every time, basically, I'm going to be looking for any pullbacks into those moving averages to get re-entries into that uptrend and scale into those positions. So that looks really nice. Not to say that this is actually just going to be this perfect smooth ride up, but certainly at the moment it's following through on that bullishness from January. And then just on my more bearish ones, EasyJet here, waiting for this, and actually it's very similar with the more bearish ones here. I need to see that follow through. They've all produced bullish January candles, which is unusual for them to agree with the stronger equities on my list, but I also need to see them follow through on that. So looking, they're all lagging at the moment, all haven't broken the highs yet. That's the same, but I want to see those follow through, and that will just increase the confidence in those swing entries long. And that's pretty much it for today, ladies and gents. If it's trending, I'll be there. I want to wish you a great day. Chat to you tomorrow. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.